And opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Hey everybody, welcome to Moms for Justice. How are you? I'm Carolyn and this is Jocelyn.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. I'm glad that we are back and it is a Monday night. And there's a lot of news today.
So juicy.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Yeah.
Really juicy. Okay. But before we start, let me just say that my daughter graduated from high school. And yes, and she's my firstborn, so it was very bittersweet for me. I just wanted to say that. But
Aww.
Shout out to her. Okay,
Beautiful.
so we are discussing P.Diddy. Okay, he's in the news because his trial is starting on the 12th. Okay.
I can't believe that went so fast.
It did
compared
go
to
fast.
Compared to a lot of other people. I can't believe he got a trial in under a year. I'm so surprised.
I know. Well, he's a hot topic right now, and news dropped literally this afternoon about celebrity names have been released. So we're going to go over that.
Ooh.
But
Okay.
so, P. Diddy is federal sex trafficking trial. His jury selection began today, May 5th, Manhattan's Southern District of New York, and about 600 prospective jurors submitted a written questionnaire. And then over the next several days, the prosecution, defense, and the judge will narrow that pool to 12 jurors and 6 alternates. Of course, we know that he is pleading not guilty to charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transporting individuals for prostitution. Right. And he remains in custody in Brooklyn. Sorry excuse of a guy.
Well, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah,
so
okay.
He's innocent right now.
Anyway, just wanted to say all that. But I just wanted to go over real quick what the prosecution's witnesses are as we know them now. The main witnesses are Cassandra Cassie Ventura. She is the former girlfriend and the first accuser to ever go public. And she'll testify about that 2016 hotel hallway incident that was captured on video.
Right. That famous video.
Yeah,
right.
Which is hands down, no question. You can see everything that happens on there. You know, he clearly is assaulting her.
Right. Yeah, he does.
There are 3 Jane Doe accusers, and each claim they were drugged and coerced into private freak-off parties and transported across state lines. They have remained confidential to protect their safety. And then FBI Special Agent Angela Martinez is going to testify. She is the lead case agent who oversaw the seizure and forensic analysis of electronic devices from his home and his private jet. And she's also going to explain how messages and videos were extracted and preserved. And then we've got Dr. Karen Rosenfeld, forensic pathologist who's brought in to interpret medical evidence related to Ventura's injuries and to link those findings to the assault footage. So that's so far what we know about the prosecution witnesses.
Well, they don't have Rodney. They're not having Rodney go on this.
It must not. It's probably.
Because he's the one who said where to find all the videotapes or that they even had them.
I think the list I have here is just confirmed witnesses, and maybe it's been spoken about that he will, but I don't have him on a list right now. So, defense witness Robert Alessi, accident reconstruction expert tasked with challenging the prosecution's timeline. This is defense witnesses. He will argue that any contact was consensual and that Combs documented movements of non-consensual encounters being implausible. Then there's Dr. Laura Bell, a forensic psychologist expected to offer context on Combs' personality profile and speak to consent dynamics in adult group settings, yada, yada, yada. I mean, these are the type of experts that the defense is going to like pull out of their butt, as you know, as many people as they can get to just talk about behavior analysis and
right.
You know, and this is
that in their favor,
right.
And that.
And this is why that this could happen, and this is why you know, it could be considered consensual, you know, kind of a thing. And then there's Brandon Victoria, longtime business partner of his, senior executive at Bad Boy Records. And she will provide his character testimony, emphasizing Combs' professional reputation and arguing against any predatory intent. Yeah.
I mean, listen, there's in history, there's plenty of men that are business when it's business. And then, you know, when it's playtime, they're a different character. I mean, look at Bill Cosby. I mean, one of the most upstanding father figures of our time until we found out what he liked to do on the down low. You know, so what she says could be true, but he's a different person. Maybe he just kept that from her. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see it during trial.
And, you know, the one witness everybody's going to want to know about is if P. Diddy himself will testify. Now, what I can tell you is that he is like, well, of course not. I'm saying like he is screaming on the top of the mountain, I want to testify, which is just so like him because he's so full of himself and narcissistic. And those, narcissists tend to want to be like, I can get myself out of it. You know, I'll talk my way out of it.
True.
So true. But I'm pretty sure that his attorneys are going to be like, no way. I mean, he will just completely get clobbered on the stand. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So he's very eager is the quote he has said. I'm very eager to tell my story.
Well, I'm sure he is because he probably feels like, you know, all you ever see in the outlets is how, and they, you know, they definitely portray it like he's guilty without a doubt. But anyway, you know, it's funny how they're actually having jury selection today on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah.
Celebration Day.
Well, there's a real risk assessment in putting him on the stand, obviously. I mean, former prosecutors caution that Combs' testimony could backfire in a spectacular way, exposing him to aggressive cross-examination risks, inconsistencies, or inviting prosecutors to introduce otherwise inadmissible evidence, and any slip could erode jurors' sympathy. So, yeah. Okay. So, while I am here, let me do this. The celebrities that have been mentioned today. It's crazy. This just came out, right? So, got
these celebrities now. Are you saying their names are being released because they're going to be part of the hearing?
No. So we don't know to what extent this all means, but what we do know is that jurors were asked if they were familiar with this celebrity, right. So, so I'll just read the article. They've also been asked if they've seen horrific videos of Combs beating ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Okay. And then you've got potential jurors asked if they were familiar with Michael B. Jordan. Okay. Mike Myers. Okay. Is on the list of 190 celebrities are being talked about. 190. Oops. Sorry.
Mike Myers, what did he do?
I know. What did you do, Mike? Okay. Okay. So then we've got the Destiny's Child chick. Where is she at? Okay. Destiny's Child singer Michelle Williams, actor Lauren London, and singer Dawn Richards are on the list. Kanye West also, and Kid Cudi. Now, Kid Cudi is believed to be a victim.
Cudi. Is it?
Cudi? Is it Cudi? I'm sorry, I thought it was Cudi. I don't know. I thought Cudi.
Here comes Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi. All right. Believed to be a victim of an alleged 2011 car bombing by Combs. It happened after Cudi was rumored to be romantically involved with Combs' then ex-girlfriend and star witness in the case. So Cassie's bisexual, I guess. Oh gosh.
I mean, aren't
Lordy. What?
Aren't a lot of them?
Yeah. Okay, so jurors were asked about their views on law enforcement also, as well as more intimate questions about their sex lives. Imagine being a juror and being asked about your sex life.
Well, it's understandable. They want to see how freeing you are towards it.
I
Are you
wouldn't
like,
I wouldn't be picked for a jury then, because I'd be like, that's none of your business.
oh,
That's none of your beeswax.
well, that off the bat tells me that you probably like it a certain way. So it's maybe like you don't know. Maybe like
No.
the prosecution wants that somebody who likes sex a straight and narrow way. I'm saying you're straight and narrow, but maybe they want people who
Right.
view sex as in one partner. And it's
I-
private.
I wonder how many of those jurors said, "Yeah, I like to use baby oil." I love baby oil.
I use the same one that P.Diddy uses from Costco.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Jocelyn. Oh my goodness, girl. All right, so that's
I
P.Diddy.
wasn't saying I was mimiccing somebody, not me.
No, it sounded like you meant you. That's what it sounded like, girl.
No.
Yeah, so it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens next week. I can't believe that. And I hate that we can't see it.
Oh,
Stupid New
they keep it
York.
closed.
Yeah. Okay, so let me show you. This is a sketch from.
I have to say though, real quick, from one of our followers, was that Stone Cold Mark? He actually thinks that he's guilty. I mean, it's so funny because Mark and I.
And it's a guy. That's why.
It's a guy. You think
It's
that's
not
why?
a hot woman. That's why he's like, oh, this one's guilty.
Oh, good point.
He always thinks that the good-looking women are just damsels in distress, and they're just innocent, which is, yeah. Sorry, Mark.
All right. So, Mark, give us another guilty guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us another one.
Okay.
Not P. Diddy, please. Everybody knows he's guilty. Yeah, this is the sketch of, I guess, I don't know if it's today or maybe it was today or maybe it was from last time. I don't know. Hit that subscribe button, like and share our page. We really appreciate it. We're going to move on to Karen Reed. Okay. Because there's stuff on Karen Reed.
Oh, so exciting. Good.
Okay.
It's a really great trial.
It is a good trial. It's really interesting, and I'm pretty
Yes.
heavily invested in it. So it's the third week, and facing second-degree murder charges, 2022 death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. They contend she ran him down with her SUV on a snowy night and left him to die outdoors. They insist O'Keefe was fatally injured inside. The defense, insists O'Keefe was fatally injured inside the home and then moved outside to disguise the scene, pointing to conflicting witness timelines, surveillance footage gaps, and digital forensic discrepancies. Okay. But on the stand again on Friday was Jen McCabe. Good old Jen. She just sank herself. It got worse and worse with every day.
It
So
did?
Friday was the worst. Yeah. And that was her final
Wow.
day.
Okay.
So but overall, let me just say, she repeatedly stumbled. Alan Jackson had relentless questioning of her. Okay. And she answered, I don't recall a lot, just like she did in that first trial. That was like her common theme. She did, I'm going to just off the record here say that I did notice that she obviously made a conscience effort. I can never say that word. An effort to prepare herself better for this trial. And she really made an attempt to come off differently, to come off nicer. And it did not work because her true colors just started coming out.
Real quick, I don't know if you know this answer. I just want to know if anybody even knows. But in her first trial, did she wear the same cross?
I don't know.
I wonder if
I
she's
wasn't
trying to,
looking. I
I'm trying to
wasn't
wonder
looking.
if, because she's trying to portray a certain, do you understand what I'm saying? Like that all matters, like your presence.
Absolutely. That would be
So-
interesting to know if she wore it in the first one, just like, like to give off I'm
I'll
holier
look it
than-
up. So, yeah, right. So I'll look it up next time we do our little powwow and we read. I'll tell you.
So if you remember from the first trial, she constantly said, I don't recall when it was convenient for her, but then new details when it was benefiting her, right? So she
of course.
did the
Right.
whole I don't recall a lot. Again, she struggled with her own timeline, contradicted her 2022 grand jury testimony, most notably over the infamous I hit him remark, okay? Jackson tried to have her read aloud from the full 227-page transcript to show that Reed's words were posed as a question, did I hit him, and not a confession of I hit him. That was the dramatic difference between both testimonies for Joan McCabe. All of a sudden, now it's, I hit him. That's all she said was, I hit him, I hit him.
I know.
That's it. And I don't know how she's going to get out of that one. And I think the jury has already seen right through her. I really do, because
really?
it's being pointed out.
Okay.
So mid-examination.
Not for nothing. Real quick for Jen, like, why didn't she like practice, or why didn't she read her old transcript? I mean, like,
Well-
is she not access to that? I mean,
I don't know.
why
I
would
think
you not go over the timeline, like write down the timeline of what you're gonna say? Like, how would you not know? I'm just surprised that she was having difficulty with these answers, because I at least would have practiced, or in the sense of, remembering the times. But whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe she was just nervous. I don't know.
Maybe. But there is a second star of the courtroom in the Jen McCabe testimony, and that is Judge Canoni. And I say a star not in a good way. This woman, I'm like so angry with this judge. It is not even funny how mad I am at this judge.
What does she do now?
Okay. She is totally helping her on the stand. Like, she would get asked a question, and then there would be like,
Bantering back and forth?
no, why am I getting a brain,
Brain fart?
yeah, well, I don't say that word, but, like,
Brain fart?
yeah, I don't say stuff like that. I just don't.
Fart?
I just don't. I'm sorry. I'm a lady. I don't say things like that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were thinking that fart was a bad word, like
oh
a
no,
curse
no,
word.
but it's just
I'm
a word
like,
I don't. It's just a word I
Yeah.
don't say. I just don't
right, I
say.
understand.
Okay, objection. Is that the word I'm looking for?
So who's saying objection?
Well, when Alan
The
Jackson
defense?
when Alan Jackson is questioning her, there's a lot of
okay.
objections, right? And
Objections,
then she'll lean in and she'll like lead the witness in a way, like how, like, do you know the answer to that question? And do you know how, like, she'll pose questions that are just odd for a judge to ask. And it ends up helping Jen. It looks like she's helping her. I mean,
Really?
yeah. So, okay. So mid-examination, halfway through, Judge Canoni abruptly halts the exercise and quotes, "You need not wade through the entire record in open court," when it comes to Alan Jackson trying to get her to read the 227-page transcript. And she almost gets mad at Alan Jackson. Is like, you don't need to wait. You don't need to wade through this entire record. And then she was like, move on to him. Okay.
Wow.
And constantly like, being like, clearly
Like she was
showing
annoyed.
bias. Yeah. And showing bias right in front of the jury. And it's just like, what does that say? I mean, her
You think the jury definitely clearly saw that?
oh my gosh, yes, it screams at me. So I can only imagine what they're thinking.
Okay.
She also, previously barred the defense from suggesting alternative suspects, such as the Canton police officers and all that, citing, concern over that. And documents also abruptly suspending a February 18th motions hearing on expert consultation claims. I mean, there's just a slew of stuff this woman's done. During McCabe's cross, she twice curtailed Jackson's lines of inquiry, ordering him to move on several times from questioning about McCabe's Google searches and warning, quote, she said, "No more nonsense." And when defense experts pushed for additional crash reconstruction testing, again, she said, "No more nonsense," right in front of the jury. So also these limit what the jurors are allowed to hear, and it frames the defense as being a burdensome to her.
Right.
It signals that certain details aren't worth their attention. And, you need neutral adjudication in the courtroom, okay? And clearly it's one-sided. And these things like this will just like make the appearance of the defense to just look not good and not fair.
I wonder if the jury is actually having these questions and wondering why is it that she's not allowing it. Like, I mean, I'm wondering if they're thinking like, oh, if she doesn't think they're important, maybe they're really not important. Or are they like, taking it the way we're kind of taking, like offended, like, wait, why are you not letting it in? What are you trying to help them for? You know what I mean? Like you could take it so many different ways, like a pro or con. So I'm wondering what the majority of the jurors are actually thinking. So I can't even wait until after the trial. Hopefully some of them will actually do an interview.
So I'm trying to look up why. I tried to research why there were reasons, if there are reasons why Judge Cannoni could favor the prosecution, right? So, and I'm going to say them because maybe there's somebody listening that doesn't know it. You might already know this, but it was new to me. So maybe you've heard this because you followed the first trial pretty good.
Right.
So in July of 2023, during that first murder trial for Karen Read, Alan Jackson asked Judge Cannoni to step aside at one point, citing a private text message from Jen McCabe's brother-in-law, Sean McCabe. Jackson read aloud a line that McCabe allegedly sent to a reporter, and it said, quote, "Auntie Bev, whose seaside cottage do you think we're going to bury your corpse under?" That was something that was allegedly sent to Judge Cannoni as a threat from Jen McCabe's brother-in-law, Sean McCabe.
Oh.
So out of
Wow,
fear,
I didn't know about that.
Okay, so out of fear, she could have. Oh, and by the way, they said, "Would you like to step down from this case because you feel threatened by this?" And she said, "No, I want to proceed." All of a sudden, she like no fear at all. A lot of judges might be like, "I don't want this case anymore," especially at her age.
I guarantee if it's true that they're putting pressure under her, they might have something over her. So she has to proceed whether she wants to or not.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So could that be? So by calling Cannoni Auntie Bev, McCabe's relative implies a personal familiar relationship with her, followed with a threat against her safety, right? So, I mean, when I looked that up, I was like, wow. Well,
I would like to know, was Jen McCabe's brother charged with anything?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I couldn't find anything else but that. And I was just like, whoa, that's insanity.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he was charged with anything, because maybe did they just sweep it under the rug, or did they take it, or did they file charges for intimidation, whichever it is, or
I don't know, but that's to me is like a huge bombshell, and I'm sure there's people that know this case inside out is going to hear this and go, "Oh, we knew about that already." Well, it was news to me, and maybe there's somebody listening that didn't know, but I was like, "Why is this woman being so biased?" I mean, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so to wrap up Karen Read, and hit the sub button while you're at it, like and share our page. Let's go over what happened today. So I got 4 witnesses. Oh no. Is it 4 or 5? No, 6. No, 6 witnesses today. Okay. And I didn't.
A lot.
Yeah, they did. And I'm going to listen to this all tonight. I wasn't able to listen today, but I do have some notes on what happened today, and I'm going to listen tonight. But here are today's witnesses. We've got retired Lieutenant Paul Gallagher of the Canton Police Department. He described arriving at 34 Fairview during the snowstorm. He used a leaf blower rather than a shovel to uncover what he believed were blood spots in the snow. He collected 6 samples of the blood in red Solo cups borrowed from a neighbor and packaged them in a grocery bag, right? Raising questions about proper evidence collection procedures. Seriously. And this is the prosecution's witness.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, this goes to show you what they got is not all that great. They really don't have a great case. They don't. So go ahead, put your Solo cup using guy up there. Right? All right.
It's like, where is your kids? Aren't you like obligated to have them in your car? I mean, I found it so weird.
So shoddy.
Almost like they didn't want it to be like a legit case. You know what I mean? Like, they just want something to be thrown out. Let's just do it like half-ass. We won't knock on the door wherever that household, where we're at. We won't interrogate anybody who lives here or the people who are inside. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
go ahead. Sorry.
Firefighter paramedic Katie McLaughlin, Canton Fire Department. She found Reed frantic and distraught at the scene, repeatedly saying, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him," within earshot of responding officers. And then she confirmed she heard Reed make the admission 4 times, and that another woman identified as Jen McCabe had to urge Reed to calm down. She revealed under cross-examination that she knew the homeowner's daughter socially, a detail she only disclosed after facing online harassment, prompting defense efforts to undermine her. Yeah, she's goodbye. She knows she's got a direct relation to somebody in the house. She's no good.
Absolutely.
Then the prosecution called Sarah Levinson, high school friend of Brian Albert Jr., and recounted a quiet, festive birthday gathering at the house on the night in question with no arguments or unusual events inside the home. She testified she and her friend Julie Nagel left at 1:30 and then 2 a.m. Noticed nothing out of... What? Left between 1:30 and 2. Sorry.
Okay.
Noticed nothing out of the ordinary and saw no one lying in the snow as they departed.
Seriously.
Well, of course they didn't see that. Of course they're going to say that. And he was probably still in the house, in the basement somewhere, getting beaten. Yeah. Who knows? Heather Mason, partygoer from Walpole, Massachusetts. She said that while being tipsy, she accompanied Ryan Nagel to the house and observed a couple inside a black SUV turning onto Fairview Road. She could not identify the occupants and denied seeing anyone exit the vehicle or cross the yard towards the home. Then Ryan Nagel got up today. He testified he saw a black SUV pulled ahead of his friend's truck just before 12:30 a.m. with a woman at the wheel and the interior dome light on. He denied seeing any footprints leading to the house or anyone exit the SUV or any signs of a struggle on the front lawn. And then we've got the last witness, which actually I'm going in reverse here. It was actually the first one of the day, I believe.
Okay.
Forensic scientist Hannah Knowles from Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. She presented a retrograde blood alcohol analysis, placing Reed's level between 0.14 and 0.28 at approximately 12:45, well above the legal limit. She confirmed, though, her calculations were based on a 9 a.m. blood draw indicating a serum alcohol of 93 milligrams, but acknowledged she could not verify hospital procedures or vials used for the collection. So that is today's highlight. Yes.
So, I mean, we need to look up, what was it? It was between 1.4?
It was well, it's above the legal limit.
What was it?
0.14 and 0.28%.
And the legal limit is 0.08, right?
That 0.08. I don't know. That I don't know.
I want to look up to see how intoxicated are you between these two.
Yeah. And then we could bring it up next time, I guess,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to look up the cross.
Look up the cross. The Jen McCabe wear a cross in the first trial. Does anybody know?
And how drunk are you between these two percentages?
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to move on to Donna Adelson. Not much on her, but I figured we'd talk about her a little bit again today. So the news on her is, and let me switch to both of us, sorry. Okay, the poor Markells. I feel so bad for them. They have to wait again. You're going to be so disappointed. The trial was moved.
Me?
Yeah. Well, I think you'll be disappointed that the trial is not going to happen on June 3rd, no?
Oh, well, yeah.
It was moved. Moved again. Don't know yet.
And why?
Surprise move. Okay, it's a little complicated, but okay. So Judge Stephen Everett granted a defense request to delay Donna Adelson's trial again, which was set for June 3rd. Just so everybody knows, Donna Adelson is 74 and faces first-degree murder, conspiracy, solicitation in the 2014 killing of her ex-son-in-law, FSU law professor Dan Markel, who was gunned down in his garage in what prosecutors say was a murder-for-hire plot. And her lawyers argued not today, but last week, that they need more time to comb through fresh wiretap recordings and more than 80,000 emails. Now, I'm going to get to why this is happening now. 80,000 emails. And you're going to say, I already know what you're going to say, why did the prosecution let this happen? I've got your explanation soon. So, as well as key jailhouse informant disclosures about who may have received favorable treatment for testimony. He signs off on this continuance without naming a new trial date. No further continuances shall be granted. He did say this. No further continuances shall be granted without good cause presented. He also set a May 16th deadline for any remaining defense motions and ordered the prosecutors to turn over all informant-related materials by this Friday. That was this past Friday.
Okay.
Just so you know, it marks the third postponement in Donna's case. Earlier delays arose from a conflict of interest challenge and a pending change of venue. Okay, so the flood of 80,000 emails only surfaced now because state investigators and their digital forensics lab needed weeks to sift through those multiple devices and cloud accounts and then conduct privilege reviews and stagger their disclosures in initial and supplemental batches. I know it's confusing. Although Florida's discovery rules require materials be turned over as soon as possible, in complex data-heavy cases, the labs often finish after trial preparations are underway, resulting in last-minute dumps of the information. So the defense's May 2nd continuous motion cites that the newly produced files and Judge Everett's decision to delay acknowledges that while the production technically met its obligations, but the sheer volume and phase release of digital evidence has repeatedly pushed back the trial. So in so many words, the prosecution says it was really out of our control. We didn't actually get the information loaded until late. Yeah. That's basically what it means. They had
it's
but
totally understandable. But thank God the judge allowed it. I just feel bad for Donna because now she's still stuck in jail. But anyway, I really hope that the defense comes up with, they hire some kind of computer guru person so they can put in a filter to put an algorithm for these catchwords or something. Or I don't know if there's a program out there already, but hopefully, because 80,000, there's nobody in their right mind who comb through 80,000 emails and get a hold of true importance of them. So I don't know. Hopefully they have some program or somebody who can.
But no matter what side you're on, Lynn, the Markels have waited so long. These people, I mean, my heart breaks for them. They live and they're tortured every day going through this. All these people are there. What?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they do have, the actual killer and the assistant, behind jail. They have the woman who was, that connected the dots, and they have Charlie there. They're just adding another to the piece, but they've had their justice on, especially the killer, the outright, first degree killer years ago. So I'm sure they just want to put everything at rest and just move on with their life. I'm sure if anything, they want that. I don't think they, but I think they've gotten satisfaction. Maybe not 100%, but.
Speaking of the Adelsons, we had one video that was a live video with you and I that I had uploaded. It was the Wendy Adelson debate that we had amongst each other. It turned it into a debate video. Well, that is getting some full steam ahead. That video is doing well, but then even more so, the crime scene drive-through video that I did by myself, I uploaded. That's doing very well. Check that out, guys, if both those videos.
Yes.
But I will say, Lynn, you're getting some heat in the comments.
I
You're
didn't see
you're
him.
getting kind of ripped apart on the Wendy Adelson debate one. I've had a few people that are just like, she's off her rocker. Like, I can't believe her.
Oh,
You'll
I have to
never
go.
convince her otherwise. And I stuck up for you. I did. I said, well,
Yeah, yeah.
listen,
I'm gonna have to
I
go
just
on
said,
there.
I said, she just wants like more concrete evidence. So I said, I'm working on her, trying to convince her. Help me out. Get on next time and help me out. But there were a couple on there who was like, I can't even watch this anymore. And they're like, bye.
Yeah,
Unsubscribe. And then, but it did. It's there's some banter going back and forth. And it's unfortunately they're really on you on that one.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have
That's
to read it.
okay.
I'll have to read it.
You'll
Yeah,
have to
it is
read some of
totally
them.
okay. You're totally allowed to have your own opinion.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. But
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm all
you
for that.
did you watch because I made that for you.
Yeah, I did
My
watch
crime
it.
scene drive-through video. I was
I
like, you inspired me to convince you and anyone else
right.
that doesn't, you know what I mean?
And I sent you that video, of the news reporter who did a whole video on that too. Who at the end of the video said that there's no way that she would have saw it. I
No,
sent
that
you the
is
video.
no. And I
Yes.
called you after that and I went
Yes.
listen, I went right to your video that you sent
Yes.
me. And the
Yes.
police officer said, yes, it would be highly likely that she would know the activity was coming from that house. Yes, the trees are blocking part of the view, but there is no way she wouldn't have known that the activity, and even if she
That's
couldn't
not
see,
that's not what he said. That's not his words. We'll have to play the video another time.
we'll have to
We'll
play
have
the
to
video another time. But I
Yes.
just want to say to you that I pointed out that the crime scene tape was about 4 to 5 houses prior. Even then, if you couldn't see the house, Lynn, my argument is still, you got all the way down that far the street. Okay, you drove all the way down the street, a whole mile out of your way, and it wasn't on the way. She went there on purpose. Okay, and her original thing that she said was that the crime scene tape is at the corner of Trescott and Centerville, and
Right.
she
Yeah, I don't know why she
lied.
would say that.
She lied about that
Yeah.
because she didn't want to admit that she drove almost a mile to get down the road. So where the crime scene tape is about 4 houses prior, and his mailbox is in plain sight up the
It's actually
street.
3 to 6 houses is what.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I'm saying 4 to 5 because I'm trying to go in the middle of that because you know what I'm saying? I mean, but no, it is like 4 houses. To be honest with you, it is like 4 houses. I counted.
Well, they say 3 to 6. I don't know, but that video that I sent you was from somebody totally separate. It was from a news. I forgot who it was, what news reporter did, but they did the drive too. And at the end of the video, she says that there's no way that she can correlate that it's definitely that house.
Yeah, plain
That
as
she'll be
day to
able to see
me.
it.
His mailbox was in sight, and the cop testified that there's no way. It would be more than likely that she would know the activity was happening here. But I want to take that out of the equation completely.
Right.
Forget that. It was still a mile drive to get to crime scene tape that's 4
Yeah,
houses
no,
away
I
from
do
your
agree there.
ex-husband.
I don't know why she was. I don't understand why she would say. I mean, obviously, I don't. I mean, I don't know why. Why would she say that I couldn't turn on to it? I thought, yeah, that's a complete lie there. I
Why?
totally agree with that. But
Why do you think
that
she
was that.
would say that?
But what video was that one? I mean, what trial was that one? Was that the first trial
Oh,
with
well, she's got. Oh, I got to remember them all.
Because the other
One,
ones she
two,
says she drives down.
One, she said she went down Trescott, and 2, she said she did not. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
The
so
point is, if you look at her route, where she stopped, where she did get the bullet bourbon, and where she had to go, it doesn't make sense to go down that road. It wasn't even a
well,
pass through to get to that liquor store that she actually went to, which was out of the way. And there was an
well,
ABC.
the one she went to was obviously not the one that was on her way because she couldn't go through the throughway. The one that she wanted to go to was on the other side, but she couldn't get through. So she went to a different one that's obviously on the same side
There
because she
was
couldn't.
no liquor store to explain away why she would go through Trescott, because the liquor store she went to that one first, and then she went down Trescott. So there's no
So,
reason.
you're
It
saying
was
you're saying she got the liquor first, then drove. to Prescott.
She picked up the liquor and then she went down Centerville, and
'cause
it
I'm under
would
the
not have
impression-
been a shortcut at that point.
I was under the impression that she took the shortcut to get to the liquor store.
No.
All right, I'm
ABC
gonna
Liquors
watch.
is on the map. If you look at the map, it's on the map.
Right.
It's to the bottom southeast of Trescott.
Right.
So
that's where she bought it, right?
that's where she bought it. But then she went back around to go down Trescott, and then it wasn't even a shortcut at that point at all.
Right. No, I have to watch a video because I could have sworn she said she took the shortcut to go to the liquor store that was on the southwest of Trescott.
My
but
map
because
is
it was closed.
My map is really good. And I took a map that was in existence already, but then I added to it. And
Right.
I'm really proud of the video because I'm getting a really good, I'm getting a really good reply from our viewers. I've had people say to me that was the best video I've seen on her drive, on her
Aw.
crime scene drive. So I'm just like so proud of it. And
Yes.
I worked really hard on it. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit the sub button, like and share. I think I'm getting a little bit closer to convincing you that maybe there's something wrong with Wendy. Maybe. I'm getting there.
Okay.
You don't think so, right? No. Okay. So, all right. So we're going to talk a little bit about Jon Benét. Not much about Jon Benét. But Jon Benét Ramsey's daughter. The daughter of late investigator Lou Smith, who investigated Jon Benét. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, daughter of late investigator Lou Smith has made it her life's work to keep the Jon Benét Ramsey case alive. So Cindy Mara is her name. This is Cindy Mara, the daughter of Lou Smith. She is now working the spreadsheet that her father left behind and taking over, cataloging over 600 potential suspects and key pieces of evidence. And since picking up the torch, she has already eliminated 25 individuals that were on that spreadsheet through DNA testing.
Okay.
And hundreds.
600?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh my God.
But hundreds more names await scrutiny, his dying plea was, "Please don't let this die," he told her. And she hopes that each new lead in technological advance will finally unmask a person of interest and bring long overdue justice for the 6-year-old victim. There is new momentum definitely building in this case because Jon Benét's father, Jon Ramsey, had recently asked for that DNA, that new DNA to be not new DNA, but older DNA to be tested. Right. Investigators say fresh leads have emerged in the wake of the 2024 docuseries that reignited public interest. Wow. Anything to keep this little girl's, memory alive. And, she deserves justice. So, we need to keep going with it. The Boulder Police Department, along with state investigators, are now exploring previously disregarded DNA evidence with new technologies unavailable in the late 1990s. Cindy Mara... she's been pretty vocal about continuing her father's work, pushing for further testing and suspect elimination. Police have expressed a cautious optimism that 2025 is the year progress will be made in this case. So no official suspects have been named since then, but, that's where we're at.
I mean, the fact that this woman is, can you imagine this woman has grown up with the Jon Ramsey case all her life, and now that it consumes her, that she's continuing her father's, in a sense, work or legacy, or however you want to look at it. But so it's kind of like it's kind of honorable, but sad too, because that's sad. All she knows all her life is about this case.
I know, but I got to hand it to her. She's probably going to get a lot of heat because a lot of people didn't like Lou Smith. A lot of people just, there's like a whole half of the country thinks Lou Smith was like an old joke of an investigator, and nobody took him seriously. Yeah. And, there's a couple things since we've talked about Jon Benét. I'll have to look at them again, but I know there's a couple things that looked a little suspect to me after I heard it, like the cobwebs in the window. That windowsill where he said they crawled through, that there were undisturbed cobwebs and all that. So I don't know. When we go back to it, when there's an update in her
Right.
case, we'll definitely go over that.
What was Lou's overall um, thought of what happened? That somebody separate, right? Wasn't the parents.
Right.
Am
He
I
said it was
remembering
not
that
the parent.
correctly?
It was
Right.
not, he said it was not the parents. It was an intruder that came in with a taser. He tased her, and that's how
Okay.
that's one of the things I found out. When you're tased, it's not long enough. You're not out long enough to be for her to have been transported downstairs without making noise. And
But she's
that
6
was,
years old.
if anything, a 6-year-old will be screaming by the time she comes to. And you
Yeah, but
come to within seconds, 5 seconds. It would have taken way longer than 5 seconds to get down the stairs with her. She would have had to have been incapacitated to bring her downstairs and not make a noise. I mean, a 6-year-old is going to scream out. Don't matter who.
Why can't he just put his hands over her mouth? And she probably weighs nothing.
You'd still make a noise, right? I don't care if anybody
Yeah.
puts a hand over your mouth. A little kid is going to fight like heck, right? So, yeah. So the taser thing, like, that didn't incapacitate her. Definitely not. That doesn't mean those 2 marks weren't taser marks, because they were perfectly symmetrical
Right.
with a taser. But it doesn't make sense that anybody would use that on her, because why use it? It's not going to knock you out long enough. It's 5 seconds.
Well, I think if they did use it, it was probably to get her to a certain point. Like they might have done something else. I don't know.
Yeah, but they got to go down those steps and then down another set of steps down the basement. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. She would have screamed her head off. I don't know. When we get another update on that, we'll revisit the whole taser thing, because I actually wrote it down in a book somewhere because I didn't want to forget, because we're constantly moving through so many cases. I forget things. It's crazy.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So, okay, we're going to talk about Alec Murdaugh a little bit. Alec Murdaugh is, you all know him, convicted in 2021,
Yes.
killed his wife and
Yes.
son. Riveting case, addicting case, huge, like, documentaries everywhere on this. So everybody was, like, totally glued to the TV for his trial.
Oh, yeah. You know what I think the kicker was that got him guilty was his dog, right? Wasn't it
Yeah,
the dog in the
it was.
video?
Well, there was a lot of things, but that was
But I
probably the
know.
biggest one.
Yeah, his best friend. Best
Dog,
friend got him
man's
banned.
best friend turned him in. So he killed his wife and son. He's serving 2 life sentences. So he was in the news not long ago because he's asked the South Carolina Supreme Court to overturn his convictions, of course. And we all know he was great on the stand. Like, he was very, you didn't watch that trial?
Very calm. No, I did. I forgot. He was very calm, almost a little too.
He is so smooth.
Almost a little too calm. Yeah.
He is so
That's
smooth.
perfect.
And I'll
Perfect.
tell you, I could see why he embezzled and got away with stealing so many people, all these different
Right.
people's funds and finances. He was just, yeah. And, I mean, he's so guilty, in my opinion. But anyway, in response, the state attorney's general office has requested more time. They want until August 8th to file its answer about the overturning of the convictions, which we all know is not going to happen. Anyway.
Well, he had to claim something. What did he claim?
Okay,
Like,
well, just wants it overturned.
okay.
Here's what happened. Attorney General's request on April 3rd, Deputy Attorneys General Don Zelenka and Mark Farthing asked for a 120-day extension to respond to it. They said Murdaugh's 121-page appeal brief raises 9 issues, and there are over 6,000 pages of trial transcripts, plus recordings and exhibits to review. They also noted that the Attorney General's office is busy with other major cases. Murdaugh's response was that they made 3 points. Giving the state a full year to respond is unheard of in South Carolina or federal courts. 2, Attorney General's office has about 90 attorneys and could hire outside help if needed, so that squashes their one thing about them being too busy. And then 3, delaying will hurt Murdaugh since they believe the court is likely to overturn his murder convictions over, here's your answer, jury tampering and evidence issues. That's all I know. Don't
Okay.
ask me for anything more. Okay.
No, that was it. That was what I was asking. Like, there
Yeah,
had to be a
jury
reason.
tampering. Okay,
Yeah.
so while the Supreme Court considers the extension request, both sides are waiting to see whether the timeline will stretch into late summer or move faster towards scheduling arguments. So, I just
Well,
thought since
nine
I'm
things. It's more than jury tampering.
well,
He also claims nine other.
right, but they didn't reveal them all to us. Some of them
I
are,
know.
private,
I'm
so they're
sorry,
not
like
letting us
stupid
know.
or irrelevant. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? I
That
have
was
the
probably the
answer to
biggest one.
everything?
No, no. I think it's just that. No, I'm just saying that you said
Right,
it wasn't just jury tampering. It was nine other things that you had stated.
right.
And I'm sure that the jury tampering was probably the most valid one, which is why they didn't
Yeah,
elaborate on the other nine. So
yeah.
yeah.
So I figured, I love this case, but one of the reasons why I don't ever bring it up to cover it is because it was so like saturated the year of what was it, 2023, I think it was. Like just that's all we heard about was Alec Murdaugh, and nobody, if I did anything on him now, like a full run like overview, it would be
Right.
like, oh, so, it's been there, done so many times. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to do that. But since I had
Okay.
an update on him, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I thought something different I could do was just talk about what it's like in Hampton County today since Murdaugh was
Oh,
put away, as well as
okay.
whatever's going on with Buster Murdaugh, his son, the only, the living son, Buster Murdaugh. So anyway,
Right.
what I learned about Hampton County was, and I do have a picture of Hampton County Courthouse. Did I get anything
Okay.
else? Yeah, I do have the courthouse. Okay, so anyway, it was once quiet with the three generations of the Murdaugh influence, right? But there
Right.
were main street storefronts have advertisements on them for quote signs in the window saying true crime tours. So people are profiting off of it in the town and saying,
Wow.
come in and we'll give you a tour of the Murdaugh town or whatever. And it's just so
Uh,
sleazy. They're just trying to make
it's
money
so
at this
funny.
point, right?
Yeah. It's like this is where he sat and had his coffee in the afternoon.
Yeah, but they're like driving around. I mean, like, that's where Mazel was. Mazel was the name of the estate
Right.
where they lived at and stuff like that, and going to the courthouse, of course. But they're like giving tours. It's like really, it's sick.
Well,
Um,
honestly, like that would never happen unless people came there looking. So I'm sure there was probably plenty of people who were curious to see this town. I'm sure it started that way. Like nobody thinks like, oh, you know what? I'm going to advertise that, he has
mhm.
his coffee in this corner every day.
Right. Not 100% sure he was guilty of. I'm not 100%. Oh, okay, I got it. Stealing people's money, yes, but murder, I'm not sure. I don't know where you're getting that from. Did you watch the same trial as me? All right. So, there was the town became like the focus of like local tourism. Like I
Right.
said before, there were people everywhere, like people on foot, people driving by, people stopping at houses in front of the courthouse and everything. But that has kind of like dimmed down
Dwindled.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Chamber of Commerce released a Discover Hampton Beyond the Headlines promo this past spring.
Hmm.
No residents are willing to go on the record with reporters. And that's up until now, like up until
Okay.
2025, still none. Town council focused on economic development, festivals, and small business support. So Buster
Yeah.
Murdaugh, he's got a defamation suit out, right? So he filed that in 2024 against Netflix, Warner Brothers, Gannett's
Wow.
Hampton County Guardian, and others. He claims their
Wow.
documentaries falsely implicated him in the 2015 death of his friend Stephen Smith. The case transferred back to Hampton County in early 2025, so that's very recent. Pretrial
Yeah.
motions are scheduled for June 21st, 2025. Buster has kept a low profile, using side entrances and avoiding media clusters. He must prove actual malice under South Carolina defamation law as a public figure. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
But his success could deter sensationalist true crime portrayals and help reshape his public image, if it's even possible to do that. Unfortunately, he is the product and the son of, one of the most hated men. So,
Yeah.
Since June 2023, Buster has lived in Bluffton, South Carolina after purchasing a home with his girlfriend, attorney Brooklyn White. So he's still with the same girl. There is no public record of Buster holding a steady job. Media reports describing as focusing full-time on his pending legal battles. So I wanted to know if he was...
Didn't he get money? Didn't he get money from his dad?
I was just going into that.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I actually wanted to research if he was poor, because I would think that after this murder, that all the money spent on attorneys, plus his name getting smeared, the entire Murdaugh name being smeared, that they would be poor. But that is not true. I researched it.
I mean, that's old money. Old money lasts. Yeah, go ahead.
His holdings are worth $5 million from family trust. His former stake in the Murdaugh law... Okay, you can let me finish what I'm saying.
I'm just commenting.
But nobody can hear nobody can hear my sentences because you keep saying something. No, they can't. Can you hear my sentences? Okay. His former stake in the Murdaugh law firm and business ventures he launched while working there. Have anything to say before I go on?
No.
He was named a sole beneficiary of $4.3 million payout after the death of the family's longtime housekeeper that we know about. Though an investigation into misappropriated funds clouds how much he ultimately received from that. Separately, he collected roughly $530,000 from a separate settlement tied to the 2019 Mallory Beach boat crash. Mm-hmm. And while many Murdaugh family holdings are tied up in court-ordered freezes, which is what I was thinking, and creditor claims against Alex's estate, Buster still maintains liquid resources. Calm down, ladies.
What?
Calm down, ladies. Okay. No, we argue a lot. We do. Okay, and then the moss-covered Mazel hunting lodge where Alex Murdaugh killed his wife and son changed hands most recently. In February 2024, a previously anonymous bidder was revealed as Alexander Wallace Blair, and he paid $1 million at auction for the 21-acre parcel, which I love so much. I love this house. The only thing it's one of my favorite homes.
It's so pretty.
In all of true crime.
Oh, really?
However, let me just say, one thing I don't like about it is that they never paved or put a driveway leading up to it. And look, if you could see right in front of the walkway there's no sidewalk.
Grass.
I know.
What's up with the grass?
Well, look, they have so much acreage. Why would you? I mean, like...
Yeah, at least right around the house, you should have decent
grass. And then the rest of it is all burnt. See this?
Pretty.
That looks beautiful, but look, the driveway's down in the middle here, and it's just like, it's faded. It's not even like a shaped, even with rock. It's not even like, it's just like.
Not even gravel, you mean?
It's like cars created that. You know what I mean? From driving up and down. But look in the front of the house. This is obviously a very good picture and made to look very good. But in reality, there is no walkway pavement. It's just literally nothing here. There's nothing. You get to the step and there's nothing. There's no sidewalk.
That is weird. All that money and they can't put a sidewalk in?
Exactly. And this is right in front of the house, I believe. So, I mean, put the driveway coming up to about here and do like a big, so they could turn around, right? A big circular. Right. And then another paved. That's what I would do.
Right. Would they just park in the front?
No, I don't know. I think they parked over here somewhere.
Yeah. Didn't they have a garage? Was that the whole thing about them? They parked in the garage. What was that whole thing about the case?
No, I don't think they didn't have a garage. No, I don't think they had a garage. And then this is the side. Okay. And again, nothing there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the back. And no, they parked literally just pulled up on the grass. That's what they did. And then, of course, there's the infamous kennels and the, I don't know what this overhang was for. Just farm equipment, I guess.
I don't know. It could
but
be a portico. You know, those.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they parked.
Maybe.
Underneath that. Oh.
Yeah. So I just figured if I'm on the topic, I might as well look into what's going on with Buster Boy. But that's going to be something to look out for this summer because, so that's what I was going to say to you. Stephen Smith, was he smeared? Yeah, maybe he has a case for that. I don't know. But I mean, it's really hard to sue these giants like Netflix and actually win.
Yeah.
Plus, he's the son of Alex Murdaugh, and they're going to look at him as just being a money grubber. But
I don't think they're. I think they're just looking at him like he's trying to clear his name, or.
I don't.
But I mean, three generations of being wealth, like that's like old money. That money is definitely in trust and is protected.
Did you ever believe that Buster Murdaugh was like had some sort of sexual relationship with that kid Stephen Smith and was involved in him dying? Did you ever think? Did you? I have a feeling Buster's innocent.
Yeah,
and Buster
really
is just like a
that
casualty. He's just like a casualty of his family. I don't know. I haven't seen anything to make me think that I think he's guilty, and I actually feel sorry for him. I mean, imagine. I mean, he lost everybody: mom,
he did,
brother. And now his dad's in jail and is disgraced.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say even the prestigiousness of his name.
Yeah.
3 generations, wealthy in the community. Was really, I assume, was highly looked up at, and now he's just,
Well, and then the housekeeper too lost a housekeeper, and the housekeeper was with them for years and raised those boys. He lost everybody he loved, and I'm sure he's hanging on to his new wife, Brooklyn. I'm sure he's got to have.
They're married.
They're married now. He married her. She's a lawyer, and they're married now. And she stayed with him and stayed by his side through the whole thing. I mean, imagine that. I mean, she was his girlfriend before all that happened, and so that tells me a lot about him. The fact that she stayed with him, she wasn't one of the Murdaughs. She didn't have to stay. She had to deal with all that scrutiny. She's being followed around by media too, and she stayed with him. So she must really believe in his innocence. So,
right.
So that's our show. That's our show for tonight, and we so appreciate you guys being with us. And
yes, thank you for putting up with us.
Hit the sub button, like and share our page, and we're gonna be on Friday night. Right?
Friday, yes. Yeah. We could do Thursday, by the way, if you wanted to.
You keep changing it on me.
No, I mean, we could keep Friday. Friday's fine. I'm just saying.
I think we should keep Friday. I think we should keep Friday. And so hearts, loves, likes. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.